Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? So on today's menu, we'll be making this easy but tasty Ayamase stew, also known as Ofada stew. This stew can also be called designer stew, like as the names are, so is the taste of the recipe. So if you want to see how to make this stew for yourself, your families, friends and relatives, stick around. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have some green bell peppers here. This is the star of the dish. You don't need no tomato for this recipe. I have my large white bulb of onions. Please, if you are allergic to onions, do not include it. And at this point, I've gone ahead to cut the bell peppers and the onions into chunky form. I place them inside my baking pan. I'm just going to put them directly inside my oven and allow the bell peppers and the onions to steam gradually. Over here are some eggs. I'm using 4, as you can see. You can use more or less depending on the number of people you are making it for. So at this point, I'm just going to cover the lid and allow the eggs to boil. Over here are some cooked chickens, cow food, and there's some beef. You can use any protein of your choice. I have some red sliced onions as well. While I was cutting these onions behind the camera, your girl was busy shedding tears, like if you know, you know. I have some grounded crayfish, also known as dry prawn. I have some fresh shrimps as well. So the rest of the ingredients can be found on the description area. So at this point, the bell peppers and the onions are still inside the oven. I'm just stirring it so that it doesn't get burnt. If you don't want to use the oven method to steam it, you can also use your stove, like place them inside your pot and place them on the stove. But please, if you are doing any of it, make sure you are there because you don't want them to get burnt. As you can see, they are out already. There was no single burnt inside my pan. Okay, so if you put it either on the stove or in the oven, don't leave it there and go and be watching Netflix or go and be watching YouTube saga, like it will get burnt. So at this point, I'm going to use my food processor to like roughly blend it. If you don't want to use your food processor, you can also use your blender to blend it, whichever one you want. Okay, and this is the advantage of steaming it. When you steam it, the bell peppers and the onions will not have much moist. So this is the result of the roughly blended bell peppers and the onions. So at this point, my oil is well heated. I went ahead and added my red sliced onions. I'm going to fry these onions for 2 minutes or thereabout, or until the onions becomes tender. The best oil to use for Ayamase stew is palm oil. But on this very day, I ran out of palm oil. I decided to make do with what I have. So if you are not a fan of palm oil, peanut oil or any other oil of your choice is just the best alternative for this Ayamase stew. So at this point, I added the roughly blended bell peppers and the onions. I'm going to fry it until the oil settles on top of the sauce. And please take note, if you are using palm oil, you have to blanch it. So I'm going to fry it, then I'll be right back. So this is like few minutes later. Please take note, I was stirring this often and on behind the camera because, like I said, you don't want to put it and you go and be watching Netflix, like it will get burnt and you will not like the smell. So I'm going to stir it one more time. When I'm done stirring it, I'm going to cover it and allow to fry for extra 2 minutes. So this is 2 minutes later. I went ahead and added the fresh shrimps. When that step is completed, I added the grounded crayfish, also known as dry prawn. So at this point, I'm going to introduce all the proteins inside the stew. Like I said, I'm using chicken, cow foot, and there's some beef, like assorted meat. Please feel free to use any protein of your choice. I added the reserved red onions, chicken bouillon powder. I'm just going to stir it gently, making sure the meat are well coated inside the stew and the stew is well coated with the meat. So another chief ingredient that I did not include inside this Ayamase stew is iru or locust beans. Where I grew up, they call it nune. In case you are wondering, that is a TV language or TV language. I grew up in Benue State. Okay, So at this point, I'm just going to cover it. If you have nune, please, or iru or locust beans, go ahead and add it. But even if I have it, I will not be adding it because my husband does not like the smell. Like the smell, he doesn't like it. So while the stew is steaming over there, this is what we'll be pairing it with. I never wanted to film this part, but I was like, why not? Let me just show you guys, because somebody might be asking me, what are you going to enjoy this ayamase stew with? So this is my red beans, and the stock that I added is the stock that I got from cooking the proteins. I'm just going to cover it and allow the beans to cook. So over here is my washed rice. I've already gone ahead to wash it, place it on the stove as well. I'm going to cover it and allow the cooking process to begin as well. So while the rice is cooking, like I was busy on the day I was making this recipe. So while the rice is cooking, over here is my plantain. I'll be frying it as well. Like, variety is the spice of life. Sometimes you just have to give your family a treat, like a good treat. You can enjoy this ayamase stew with rice and beans, or rice with ayamase, or plantain, like anything of your choice. So at this point, it is time for us to check on the ayamase stew, and the aroma that was oozing out from this stew was divine. So this is time for me to introduce in the eggs. I'm just going to stir it gradually. When I'm done stirring it, I'm going to cover it and allow to simmer on a very low heat. I hope you are enjoying this recipe so far. Let me know in the comment section below if you are going to try it for your family. So yeah, at this point the stew is well cooked, like well cooked, and it tastes absolutely divine. Thank you so much for watching this video, and this is the result of our ayamase stew. If you enjoyed this recipe as much as I enjoy making it, please make sure to give your girl a thumbs up. You can enjoy it with your pasta, your rice, or anything you want to enjoy it with. I will catch you all on my next video. Bye lovely.